So it's always one thing or another with this movie. Also, sorry for the disheveled look. I just got home from work, and because I go to bed at like I'm old, so I go to bed at like 11 o'clock. So I usually take my shower at around 9 just to relax the muscles. Days I get home from work, just want to relax the muscles. If I was to take one now, my muscles would be killing me by the time I went to bed, and I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. So the closer I take the shower, when I'm, so I look like crap. It's 500 degrees in there. Well, not in there. It's like 78, 79, but I'm pretty much in front of that oven the entire time. That oven is 500 degrees. The AC doesn't work properly because the more the electric, the more energy it drains, and the AC in the place doesn't work properly. So it's hot. It's very hot. But anyway, Disney Snow White Dwarf controversy explodes as little people actors. They're just like normal people, just little. No, little people actors slam studio. Disney claims CGI characters were always the plan, despite leaked set photos. We know that's not the truth because they outright said that the photos that we saw was what they were going. That's what they were going to do. So you saw the band of the 7 Portland baristas, all of them of which like one was actually small. Everyone else, the one dude looks like he was like 6 feet. And they were like, yeah, that's why they changed it to this after the backlash of the photos. So, why you always lying? Quit fucking lying. Making sure, okay. Okay, making sure it's not a subscriber only. God, I am hungry. I haven't eaten all day. I've been out since like 7 o'clock, 7:30, and I haven't eaten all day. Snow White backlash isn't going away. If anything, it's getting worse. Now Disney is getting hammered by little people actors. Incensed with the company's decision to use CGI dwarves in the troubled film. I mean, I agree they should have just. I brought up how Lord of the Rings. If they didn't want it, you could easily use, certain angles or, they did it so well in Lord of the Rings. Like John Rhys Davies, the dude's like 6'2", and he played a dwarf. You never would have known that because he looked. Same thing with the Hobbits. Sean Astin and Elijah Wood, and they're not actually hobbits. They're normal sized people, but they looked because composite and the composition they did. So it seemed like they would film one of them first. I think they would film everyone else first, and then have them composite them in, but kind of down, except for the scenes where you see like Gandalf like doing that to Frodo or something. That's just an actor who is smaller, just wearing a wig and clothes and all that. Like at the end, I think when they were getting on the ship, like Bilbo and all them, it was smaller actor. There's no reason for composite of anything. I mean, they did it with Lord of the Rings just fine. But then I think in the Warcraft movie, they had dwarves, but the dwarves were CGI and it just looked awkward. Like everything else was like real-ish, except for like the dwarves. Even the orcs looked more realistic, which is crazy. But they could have done that. Instead, they were like, oh, let's go for 7 people, one of which is actually small. One dude's like freaking 6 feet tall. After Disney scrapped live-action actors in favor of CGI dwarves, little people actors are speaking out against the studio for robbing them of job opportunities. Meanwhile, The Hollywood Reporter originally admitted that Disney had changed course, but quickly edited their article to claim that CGI dwarves were always the plan. No, it wasn't. Again, Disney outright said that the leaked photos were legit, and the only reason they changed them to CGI was because of the backlash. Because the CGI, it cost them extra money. They had to spend like an extra like 200 million for the CGI dwarves. So no, it wasn't the intention. They had, because of the backlash, people were like, why are they all normal size? Well, they look like freaking Portland baristas. Like it's 7 dwarves, not 7 diversity hires. Raising serious questions about the studio's influence over media narratives. Little people actors speak speak out against Disney's decision. Actress Ellie Chapman who has appeared on Little Woman, L.A., slammed Disney for choosing CGI over real actors. It's a motive that's supposed to have. It's a movie that's supposed to have real dwarves. Yeah. Again, you can have real people and just kind of the way you film it. Like I said, look at Lord of the Rings. You never would have guessed that John Rhys Davies wasn't a dwarf. The guy's, like I said, he's like 6'2", and yet he looks so natural because of the way they filmed it, certain angles, composition, and all that. They did amazing. And considering that was like what, 2001, 2002, it holds up really, really well. But here they couldn't do this to current day 2024, 2025. Come on. Come on. It's a movie that's supposed to have real dwarves, she told TMZ. TMZ! Instead, Disney chose to use CGI to replace actors and actresses that are little people that are very talented. Her husband, actor Matt McCarthy, echoed her frustration, saying Nintendo. What does Nintendo have to do with this? Saying Disney's decision effectively shut out little people from 7 key roles. It did. It did. That's 7 roles right there. 7 little people that could have filled those roles. And unfortunately, we were shut out of that opportunity. Chapman emphasized that Hollywood should stop replacing real people with CGI. Yeah, I'm so tired of CGI. You know, especially you see things where you'll see like buildings and they'll like CGI entire portions of the building. It's like, you guys build sets. Why not just build it? Why add CGI to everything? They realize that if, you know, CGI costs more, right? Like it was 200 million or so just to CGI some dwarves. If it's practical effects, it costs less. And that's why I love practical effects, like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, basically any horror movie from the 80s. It was all practical effects. And it looks amazing. Even now, go back and watch Nightmare on Elm Street, like the original. Practical effects still look amazing. Kind of a little campy, but I mean, that's the charm of it. Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. Like I said, any horror movie back in the day, it was all practical, which is amazing. I love when they do that. Especially when those little roles are meant for little people. This isn't the first time Hollywood has done that. Done this. The Warner Brothers film Wonka used a CGI altered Hugh Grant. Yeah, well, that was stupid. As the Oompa Loompas, role that originally went to little people actors in the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah. So in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, it was multiple people, different people. In Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it was one person who they took and freaking shadow clone jutsu that crap, you know, with CGI 100 million times or whatever it was. But yeah, it was one actor, but they just kind of multiplied him because they wanted all the Oompa Loompas to pretty much look the same. Because it's like, oh, well, they're living in this village and, you know, secluded. It's probably going to look similar in some way. So they just like, oh, yeah, just take one actor and just... Hang on, I forget his name. Yeah, this fucking Chad right here. This fucking sexy piece of shit. No, this sexy man right here. Deep Roy. They basically just... And then, you know... like a million times. And which was harder for him because every Oompa Loompa, you know, if they all had different things, he had to film all of that by himself, and they would just kind of multiply however many times they needed. So this guy did a lot of work. Actually, I think what they said was they actually filmed him in every position. So he would start there, and then he would kind of work his way down. And that sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. The criticisms add to the growing backlash over Disney's handling of Seven Dwarfs, with many pointing to the hypocrisy of claiming to be progressive while actively removing real-life representation. Exactly, that's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. I said they care so much about the representation and diversity, but they're taking these roles away from them. I guarantee you there are more than enough talented little people out there who, even if they're still new, this would be a great breakout for them. Well, theoretically, this would be amazing. But no. They're like, no, let's get 7 regular sized people, and then after the backlash, let's just CGI them in. Peter Dinklage's role in Disney decision, burning the bridge behind him? Find out on the next exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z. Disney's disastrous handling of the Seven Dwarfs began in 2022 when Game of Thrones actor Peter Dinklage called the original story backward on Mark Maron's WTF podcast. You're progressive in one way, but then you're still making that fucking backward story about 7 dwarves living in a cave together. What the fuck are you doing, man? Dinklage's comments seemingly pushed Disney into overhauling the dwarves, replacing them with a diverse group of men and women of different sizes. Again, they're trying to say that, no, we never play. No, that was what they intended. And apparently they weren't going to be called dwarves. They were going to be like magical companions. So, however, when Disney leaked set photos surfaced, the reaction was overwhelmingly negative. Fans ridiculed Disney's attempt to erase the classic dwarves, and the backlash forced the studio to pivot once again, this time to CGI creatures. Many little people actors have since accused Dinklage of pulling the ladder up from up behind them. Having already built a successful Hollywood career playing dwarf characters, he pressured Disney into removing roles that could have been given to other little people, opportunities. Yeah, absolutely. Like, this is what they looked like. Like, look at this dude. The dude's like 6 feet. Like, they had one person who was, but you can see the contrast between him and everyone else. This is what they were going with. They were like, no. Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. This is what we, and then that's why they had to spend more money, because the CGI cost more money. Disney flip-flopping the THR's quiet cover-up. After the backlash over the diverse live-action dwarves, Disney scrambled to course-correct, replacing them with CGI while claiming it was all part of the plan. Why so serious? But the timeline of events, and now an edited article from the Hollywood Reporter, tells a different story. Just like the Joker. You want to know how I got these scars? And it's different every time. My father was a drinker, or I had a wife. You know, it's just different every single time. This is what they're doing here. Originally, THR acknowledged that Disney had cast a group of diverse actors to play the dwarves, only to backtrack after fans revolted. However, after publication, this section of the article was mysteriously edited, probably like 4 o'clock in the morning when no one else was there. Edited to claim the reports of live-action dwarves were erroneous. Oh. Getting some big words there, erroneous. And that director, Mark Webb, had always intended them to be CGI. Why you always lying? The problem? There is literal leaked set photos proving otherwise. A quiet revision raises major questions about Disney's behind-the-scenes influence over media coverage. Why did THR change its story? Did Disney pressure them? Didn't Disney pressure them to rewrite history and erase any admission that they caved to backlash? Will Frieza finally succeed in destroying Goku and Vegeta? Find out on the next exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z. Disney's Snow White disaster is only getting worse. Yeah. Honestly, I was expecting it all to be about her, but here we are talking about PR. What started as a bad PR move has now snowballed, dirty snowball, probably piss and dirt and all that great stuff, into a full-blown scandal. Little people actors are furious at Disney for cutting them out. Peter Dinklage is being accused of being a hypocrite, and Disney is now trying to rewrite history through media allies like the Hollywood Reporter. Fans are like, you know, they don't forget, which is, fans haven't forgotten. They never forget. You know, I would say something about William Afton, but it's William Afton always comes back. I never forget. No, but yeah, the fans don't forget. Not to mention, it didn't happen that long ago. It was like last year or whatever. I think that those pictures came out. And again, they scrambled around saying, oh no, those aren't real. And then they finally came out, they're like, oh yeah, they are. They are. And that's why they had to spend like another 250 million dollars to CGI some dwarves in, because they were getting backlash over normal sized people to play a couple, 7 dwarves. Well, they got 7 normal sized people. Average sized people. I don't want to be insensitive. I don't, it's little people. Disney Snow White has been a disaster from the start, and no amount of CGI, media spin, or corporate cover-up will change that. I think I saw a bunny with a keyboard. No, Mad Lemming. Dinklage hasn't just burned the bridge behind him. He nuked it from orbit, yeah. But yeah. So now they're trying to rewrite history and say, oh, that never happened. It never happened. It never happened. We were planning CGI the whole time. They were planning CGI the whole time. Go and watch the movie. We will go and watch the movie. But, you can tell they're scrambling to try to do whatever they can to salvage this movie, which it can't be salvaged at this point. But they're doing what they can. They had enough trouble with this chick not knowing when to shut her mouth. The photos of the well, also people were saying about the dress, the outfit, how it looks like it's Party City quality. This multi-billion-dollar company, and it looks like he purchased this crap at like a Dollar Tree or Party City. When you have some cosplayers who have very limited money sometimes, and they have created some of the most beautiful dresses. I showed them off once. Some of the most beautiful outfits with just a small, finite amount of money. And they got closer to Snow White than Disney did. So between the dwarves, being normal-sized people and being changed to like magical companions, Rachel Zegler not knowing to shut her mouth, this movie is basically like the Assassin's Creed Shadows of the movies. There's just one thing after another with this movie. But not to mention the tickets went on sale, and apparently those aren't doing well. When I reported about, talked about it, only like 15 seats sold in one of Disney's, theaters, and just no one's excited about this movie. But I think the people who are going to go see it are probably the parents who want to shut their kids up for an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. So, anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.